It's those days where there's frost on the pumpkin, it's colder than a witch's kit. Yes, witches have kits. How do you think they make spells? Every morning you get up now, going forward, it's going to be a lot colder than it used to be. The weather is changing. I got up the other day, sat down in front of the computer and started thinking about fragrance, as I do every morning. And I started watching some YouTube videos. And you know how when you sit down and you think, I'm just going to spend a few minutes looking at YouTube. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, what am I still doing in front of the computer? Somehow I ended up watching clips of a movie called Legends of the Fall, starring Brad Pitt. You may remember it. It's a pretty old movie. It's one of those love stories, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet story. And it struck me that the title was pretty punny. And so I thought about the situation with Tristan and Isolde, and it's a romance, right? And it's a long time ago, back when they rode horses and there were carriages and log cabins and things. And the hero is always in a hurry to go see the girl, but they never show him putting on fragrance. Do you think he showed up at her log cabin smelling like wood smoke and horse crap? No. He absolutely used Creed or 4711 or whatever was available at that time to smell good. So when thinking about romance, thinking about the season, and so today's video is about 7 fragrances that are perfect for fall, very affordable, cheap, and have never let me down, won't disappoint. And guys, stick around to the very end of the video. We're gonna do a giveaway, a full bottle giveaway of one of the fragrances that's in the list today, and you might just be a winner. So we've got that and more coming your way, so stay tuned. Welcome back, all you knockoff Tristans out there. Today we're talking about legends of the affordable fall. Fragrances that are perfect for fall, that you're not going to have to throw out a ton of money for, and yet they smell and perform like fragrances that you spent hundreds of dollars on. So let's get started with our very short list, relatively short list, 7 fragrances. The first fragrance that I want to bring your attention to that has never disappointed me, a fragrance that reminds me of one of my all-time favorite fragrances that is now discontinued. It is a Hugo Boss fragrance called Boss Bottled Intense. You may remember that. I would show it to you, but it's on the shelf behind me there. Boss Bottled Intense is one of those fragrances that it's got a very seductive, warm apple fougere presence. And so if that's what you enjoy, if you have had that fragrance in the past, but have been looking for it and it's very expensive online, again, because it's discontinued, then this particular fragrance you will love. It is by, actually, they're associated with Hugo Boss. I guess you could say a subsidiary of. It is Baldessarini Ombre. Baldessarini is a relatively unknown brand, but they're very good quality. And the nice thing about relatively unknown or obscure brands is that their price is usually on point. This is definitely on point, and especially if you're looking for a replacement for Boss Bottled Intense. It opens with mandarin orange, red apple, and whiskey. What a awesome, boozy, warm, apple-oriented opening that is perfect for fall. But it doesn't end there. Ombre also has leather and violet in the heart, so you get that infusion of leather with a hint of violet. In the base is where you get that ambroxan. There's a good bit of ambroxan in Ombre that gives it that modern feel. And then, of course, oak wood and labdanum round out a fantastic scent profile. The good news about the open is that it's part of the entire body of the fragrance and it lasts into the dry down. And that's one of my favorite aspects of Ombre. This fragrance you can get for under $50. Very inexpensive, very cheap. I've listed it down below in one of the links that you can click on so that you can check it out and purchase it if you wish. Baldessarini's Ombre, very similar to Boss Bottled Intense. Continuing on in our Legends of the Affordable Fall, our next fragrance is for all of you lovers out there of very realistic, strong, pungent, very masculine leather fragrances. This fragrance has been around for a little while. It has gained some notoriety in a very short period of time, and it's still rising in the ranks, but it's one of those love it or hate it kind of fragrances. It's by the car manufacturer Bentley. It is Bentley for Men Intense. And if you've never tried out this amazing fragrance, I highly recommend to try it out at a friend's house or get a sample before you go all in. Even if you go all in, one of those rare finds that are super inexpensive, so that even if you buy a whole full bottle but you don't like it, you're not really out that much. It's like $30 for a 100 ml bottle. So if you don't like it, you can give it away as a gift or whatever, and you're not really out anything, and you're amping up the experience of a friend by providing this fantastic fragrance. But I recommend that you'll like it. Bentley for Men Intense opens with geranium, black pepper, and a little bit of frankincense. So you get that kind of rich incense feel and appeal straight out the gate. Again, I've mentioned this before in talking about this fragrance. It's like sitting in a Bentley that is just all leather interior, rich, new, pungent, heavy leather, and you're sitting there, all the windows are rolled up, the sun's beating down on the car, and you're getting kind of the remnants of that. It's just a really rich, pungent, heavy experience. And so it actually performs really good as well. You've got leather, labdanum, and clary sage, very similar to ombre. In the base, you get cedarwood, patchouli, sandalwood, so it sounds like a standard fougere, but what a powerful fougere and what a masculine scent for men. Again, the performance of Bentley for Men Intense is hundreds of dollars worth more than what you're going to pay for this, and that's why it's never let me down, especially as a fall fragrance. Bentley for Men Intense. Next up in my Legends of the Affordable Fall is a fragrance that it's a lot of you guys out there first experience in the foray into tobacco-oriented fragrances. It's a Calvin Klein fragrance and actually happens to be the full bottle giveaway that we're going to do today. It is Calvin Klein's CK1 Shock. A very noticeable bright green and dark black bottle. It's a really cool look, kind of gives it that classic visual appeal. But not only that, the fragrance itself is very similar to how the fragrance looks. It's very classic, and it's one of those that will never be out of style. Kind of a weird opening with clementine, cucumber, and lavender, but you don't really get any of those in the open. This is one of the best blended fragrances that Calvin Klein will ever come out with, and it's actually one of the best performing Calvin Klein fragrances of all time as well. And of course, that's not saying much because they have a ton of fragrances that don't perform well, but this one definitely does. You get the sense of the dark heart going into the heart of this, which is cardamom, black pepper, and basil. Actually, it's black basil, I believe. And brain, cashmere, patchouli, white musk, and tobacco. Tobacco is not a heavy note in this fragrance, but it does impact the fragrance 100% all the way around. So it's definitely a tobacco-oriented fragrance. So it's not an old man's fragrance. It's not just for young people. CK1 Shock has hit the nail on the head for all ages as being one of those classic men's fragrance you can always rely on. And it's a perfect fall fragrance because, again, it's a very light, very modern feeling tobacco-oriented fragrance. And there's a little bit of sweetness too, and it's perfectly balanced by a sweetness, but that sweetness is almost like young tobacco. And it happens to be our full bottle giveaway. Stick around to the end of the video. I'm going to let you know how you can enter to win this 100 ml bottle of CK1 Shock. Next up is a fragrance by Givenchy that is one of my all-time favorite Givenchy releases. I believe it has been reformulated, but it is Givenchy Pie. Givenchy Pie is an epic fall-oriented fragrance simply because it's got that warm vanillic cinnamon combination that makes every fragrance with vanilla in it just incredibly palpable to wear during cooler weather. Now, the bottle that has the pie symbol on it is the older release. The newer releases are just the plain bottle. I'll show you here, and they don't have the logo or the symbol on it any longer, and I believe that's the one that's been reformed. This one definitely has a good bit of vanilla, almond, and tonka throughout the entire life from the open to the end. I think there's even brown sugar in here, among other things. It's almost like, I always make the joke that it's almost like the ingredients of an actual pie that goes into making the fragrance pie. But I don't think that's the case for the newer reformulated version. So highly recommend checking this one out. It's still currently available. You can get it right now at FragranceNet.com for $38 as a tester. What a fantastic deal for a fantastic fragrance. And again, links are below if you want to check it out. Givenchy Pie. Next up is a fragrance by Lalique that is not only a fantastic fall or cooler weather oriented fragrance, it's just a classic epic scent for men. It is Encre Noir in the very square bottles. Now, whether it's Encre Noir or Encre à l'Extreme or Encre Noir Sport, either one, they're all very similar but a little bit different in their own way. I like the original. The original has that very inky, dark, rich vetiver and that lightly smoky background pushing it forward. Haitian vetiver, bourbon vetiver, cashmere wood, and musk in the background. It's one of those heavier, weightier fragrances, but it doesn't just sit there doing nothing on your skin. It performs really well. Nice sillage. In fact, the sillage of this is very pleasant. Even though some people don't like the open of the fragrance necessarily, it's just a really nice, dark, rich, smoky, kind of inky fragrance for men. A classic masculine scent. Encre Noir, and you can get Encre Noir for less than $30 all day long. 100 ml bottle. extremely well worth it and smells like you spent so much more. This is a fragrance that has never disappointed, and I don't think it'll disappoint you as well. Encre Noir by Lalique. All right, knockoff Tristans out there, in our ongoing attempt to make a soul day happy, we are trying to amp up the romance in the relationship. And so one of the fragrances that will do that for you, that is very similar to YSL's La Nuit de l'Homme, is a fragrance by Tristan. It is Tristan Reflesso. Reflesso is just one of those really dependable releases that is so nice. It's very subtle, but there's a strength in its subtlety. It opens with an epic opening of bergamot, pink grapefruit, and green apple. Anything apple is going to be good in my estimation, at least when it's done well, and this is definitely done well. A heart of violet leaf absolute, geranium, and lavender, rounded out with Italian leather, vetiver, and tonka bean for sweetness. All right, now, obviously Tristan is Italian. Italian leather just puts you in the mind of one word: rich. Maybe there's other words there, but I love Italian leather, and the addition of the note in this just, again, amps up the romantic, sexy appeal of Reflesso. And again, it's got that kind of cardamom almond balanced out in the fragrance, similar to La Nuit de l'Homme, and it is a perfect date night, sensational date night fragrance, perfect for the cooler weather, specifically fall. Very affordable. You can get a 100 ml bottle for under 40 bucks. Tristan Reflesso. Last of our 7 fragrances that are legends of the affordable fall is a fragrance by Montblanc. It's been around for a while. It's actually discontinued, but apparently there are so many. This is one of those that Montblanc really got behind, and they're like, you know what? Go ahead and produce 1 million of them and we'll sell them all. And then they're like, you know what? Let's discontinue this fragrance because we overestimated how many we're going to sell. Because there are a ton of out there at discounters that are just brand new, not even just testers, but brand new bottles. But it is a very good popular fragrance, and it's perfect for fall weather. I call it Prada L'Homme Jr. It is Montblanc Individuel. Individuel is just a very kind of laundry fresh fragrance, but don't let that fool you. It is a very powerfully performing fragrance. It's even got a bit of chocolate and raspberry going on, but that only comes out, in my experience, near the dry down, near the heart of the fragrance into the dry down, and it's not super heavy. It's just something, I think there's something in Individuel that everyone can enjoy and like. Along with dark chocolate and raspberry, as you might imagine, there are notes of amber, of vanilla, patchouli, sandalwood. It's just a very near gourmand. You could even say it's gourmand because of the edible notes that are in it, but it doesn't come across as super effusively sweet or even super heavy, although there is a density about it, and that's what adds to the performance. Fantastic fragrance, can be used on date nights, but also can be just your signature scent. Perfect for cooler weather. Individuel by Montblanc, and it's super inexpensive. Of course, I was holding it backwards, sorry about that. You can get a 75 ml bottle, because that's how big that they make it. They don't make it in a larger size, for under 30 bucks, around 25 bucks. Very inexpensive, very well worth it. Montblanc Individuel. All right, knockoff Tristans. I'm not even going to say that. You are your own Tristan out there. You're actually better than Tristan. But I hope you've enjoyed these legends of the affordable fall, very cheap, very inexpensive fragrances, but none of them will disappoint. All of them are very well worth what you pay, more in fact than what you pay for them, because they smell like they're very expensive fragrances, and they perform that way too. If you have any of these fragrances, let me know what your experience with them is like, what your favorite aspects are, or if you found other very inexpensive or cheap fragrances out there that you really like when the weather starts turning cooler. Let me know what those are in the comments below. All right guys, how to enter to win the CK1 Shock full bottle, 100 ml bottle. This is how you do it. It's going to be a very simple giveaway. This time, all you got to do is make sure you're subbed to my account, that you comment on this video, because I use YouTube random comment picker to choose the winner. So if you don't comment on the video, you're not going to be entered to win. So that's literally the only way to enter to win. Make sure you comment. What does your comment have to be? I don't know. You can say, hey, I really want to win CK1 Shock, or here's my favorite fall fragrance. Really anything, even just your name, whatever's easiest for you. Of course, the more information that you share in the comments, other people can respond respond to, and I certainly appreciate your opinions and your thoughts, so put whatever you'd like, but just keep in mind your thoughts are always appreciated and welcomed on my channel. And that's it. You'll be entered to win. I'll let a few days go by to accumulate a certain number of comments, and then I will choose the winner and post it on the community page. And that's it. That's all you got to do to enter to win. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by and checking out today's video. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow.